It's Tuesday, February 14th, Valentine's Day. Welcome to Rumor Has It. I'm Emily Dreyfus.
And I'm Corinne Levy, and welcome to the internet's most exciting tech gambling show in the whole world.
Possibly the only tech gambling show.
The World Wide Web, where we round up the week's hottest rumors, and then we bet on them. And then at the end of the month, the loser of the betting pool has to do something embarrassing. So that was last week. If you guys missed it, it was intense. And today, we're all wearing our celebratory outfits
and hats, as you've noticed.
And we have these things. Because not only is it Valentine's Day, which is great, and I don't know.
Who cares about that?
It's whatever. But it's our 20th episode.
Yay! Oh, look, we don't even need the sound machine to clap. We can just actually clap.
There's so many of us in here that we're so excited to be here. So thank you guys for joining us on our 20th episode or being here with us from the beginning.
Yeah.
We have
a bunch of special rumors today. We're going to run down iPad 3 rumors, obviously. We're going to talk about Apple TV updates. We're going to talk about a Google rumor. And what's the fourth rumor we're going to discuss?
We are going Apple going to...
Oh, Apple opening stores in an unlikely place.
In the weirdest place ever.
And then we're also going to premiere a new segment that we've been telling you guys about for a very long time.
That has the most amazing graphic that Steven has been working on.
That's true.
It's so good. He's been talking about, we've been talking about this new segment for a month.
and not really doing anything about it.
Except for Steven, who's been working really hard on it. And we're like, we'll do it next time. We also have champagne, so we're going to get wasted.
In the middle of the show, we're going to take a little break and drink some rosé.
And because I didn't have... I just spit all over my screen because I haven't had breakfast today, so it's going to be breakfast of champions.
Well, should we actually pop it right now? Because when we get to the first rumors in 1 second about the iPad 3, there are going to be so many anonymous sources, and we're going to want to drink it.
I'm going to let you pop that champagne because I start screaming. In the meantime, while you're doing that, I would like to give a shout out to my little cousin Lauren, who had a baby today.
Oh,
little
congratulations!
Zoe was born this morning.
Zoe, I love that name.
Yeah, she was born at 5:51 a.m. And Lauren is my little cousin. I used to tease her. Me and her two older brothers used to tease her relentlessly, and she was like the little sister.
Here's
so
the pop.
Woo-hoo! That's for Lauren's baby for Valentine's Day. There's so many things to celebrate today. All right. Oh boy.
Oh God.
It's getting crazy in
here.
Geez,
this is a big one. Sorry. I was only gonna pour myself a little, but really, I'm thirsty. Oh hell yeah.
All right.
Sorry about the fizz. I'll try to.
That's okay. I mean, we're drinking it out of paper cups, and it's a rosé.
Yeah, but you know what? These cups are biodegradable.
Well,
as are the forks.
We care. All right, L'chaim.
Okay.
Mazel tov.
Mazel tov.
Cheers.
Cheers.
To 20.
To you guys, readers. This is your metaphorical cup.
We poured one out for you.
Watchers.
All right.
A delicious $7 bottle of champagne.
That is way better than the absinthe, or what was it that we drank that
God,
one time?
that was disgusting.
Yeah, the absinthe.
Yeah, that was hardcore.
All right, let's just get this show on the road so that
please.
people do not think that this is just
pat yourself on the back day.
Good. What's that show where they drink with Kathy Lee? Good Day. Good Morning America. No, it's not Good Morning.
Regis and Kathy.
No, I don't know.
I don't know either.
You know, with Hoda and Hoda and
Kathy Lee.
Yeah, whatever. Okay. We're not that show. Okay, so to get to the very beginning, you guys have heard of the iPad 3, right? We've talked about it a lot.
There's this thing. It's called the iPad 3.
And I apologize for iPad saturation, but at this point, and we were going to give it a rest, except for that the internet and the world and fate doesn't want to give it a rest because it seems that there has now been consensus among the internet community that the iPad 3 is going to come out in March. Let's trace this.
Yeah, we talk about iPad 3 rumors all the time, but in the last week, it's been every minute of the day.
Yeah,
not just
and
every day.
Every single one of them is like, we agree it's March. We agree it's March. Every publication that's talking about it. So that seems like it's a pretty big deal. Here comes the first champagne burp. Sorry.
Which implies that there's going to be many. So watch out. Thank God you guys are listening in.
Okay, but so if we trace this rumor about the iPad 3 coming out in March, forgive me, it goes to All Things Digital was the latest and most high-profile person to kind of put their weight behind this rumor. And what they said is that the iPad 3 will be coming out indeed in March, citing anonymous sources.
Anonymous sources, drink up your champagne or your metaphorical champagne.
And the details are a little bit scant that this source revealed, but they insist that the next generation iPad will have a better chip, so presumably the A6, which is what we've been saying all along. Although there had been some speculation that the A6 wouldn't be ready until June, so I don't know about that. Improved graphics of some sort and bumped up resolution. Now, the All Things Digital rumor did not specify whether bumped up resolution was going to take it all the way to the level of resolution that was the Retina display.
The Retina display.
Exactly. And as we've
right.
talked about on the show before, there have been some talks about how difficult it is for Apple to kind of figure out the technology of making a Retina display that would be big enough to be on the iPad, and they've had some manufacturing setbacks, and they've been like speeding up processing in China to try to figure it out, and going back and forth with which way they were going to do their LEDs.
Is that because they don't want it to be like, if they put this technology in there, they don't want it to be, it'll be too thick? Is that the issue?
It'll be
with
too
it?
thick, and it's
Or thicker, I guess, which is already too thick.
and it's about the density of pixels. And
Okay.
so in a smaller place, it's easier. But once you create so much more space, you have to get all of these things into a bigger screen. And then with the way that the LEDs in the background are worked out, there just wasn't a precedent for it.
Gotcha.
So there's the first rumor. Now I'm going to just give like 5 rumors about iPad 3 right now because there's just been so many of them. The next one is playing off of this March release date, except for then it's totally deflating everybody's bubble, bursting everyone's joy.
Which I love. This is my favorite rumor.
I mean, and this one makes the most sense, honestly. And that comes from the New York Times, the old gray lady, my absolute favorite newspaper of all time, and very reputable. And the New York Times cites, yes, an anonymous source, but not just anyone, not just a friend of a friend of a friend of whoever that they met at a cocktail party, but rather an anonymous Apple employee, they claim. So maybe you should drink twice for that one.
I mean, who? An anonymous.
And then in the blog
Apple
post, they
employee.
say, oh, and the Apple employee would like to remain anonymous because, as you know, Apple frowns upon leaks.
Obviously.
That's an understatement. New York Times.
Because they literally get fired, and not only do they get fired, but shunned to a different planet. Like they get
they're like shipped off to Siberia to work in that factory.
Yeah.
That's not the gulag. That's the factory. Anyways, so the New York Times says, yes, it does. This anonymous employee does indicate that it's going to come out in March. However, this anonymous employee suggests that the iPad that is in production and that's floating around the halls of Apple and that people have seen looks exactly like the iPad 2 and is not going to have a large redesign.
Shoot.
But so now what they say it will have are all the things that we wanted to have, which is, this person says, yes, a Retina display, a better battery, which it already has a pretty good battery. So I mean, that's
the
hella
standby
awesome.
time, even on my first generation iPad, is like I leave it on for weeks and weeks and weeks, and it never dies.
Me too. I have one that I use for work to help program our iPad app, and I literally have not, because I barely ever use it, and it's just here at the office. I haven't charged it in 2 weeks.
And you leave it on,
I
right?
leave it on.
Yeah, it's
because
the best.
the screen is never used, so it never loses battery. But so this an anonymous employee says it will have a Retina display, better battery, an improved camera. Thank God.
That camera is such a
It's
piece of
so
crap.
bad.
But whoever, I mean, really, the FaceTime camera.
Yeah, exactly.
The front-facing.
I'm not going to go to a concert and be that douchebag who's holding up my iPad taking a picture with the back camera or ever. Like, yeah.
So funny. That's like holding up your laptop.
The
to
only
take a
time
picture.
that I kind of thought it was a little bit awesome, but it was kind of awesomely horrible was, well, also this whole thing was a horrible incident. But there was the time when the protesters in Oakland got pepper sprayed in the face, and in the video of it, there was a man holding up his iPad, and he was using that camera.
Yeah, I
and
mean,
it was
thank
kinda
God
like,
at least he had a camera.
Yeah, exactly. At that moment, it wasn't intended for that purpose, but he caught that whole scene because of his
but
iPad.
How 99% is he holding up an iPad?
Exactly. He's like, I'm with
Really?
the protesters.
I love you 99%. So let me take out my $500 device and just throw it
But
around.
I mean, not to get completely sidetracked, but that also is a commentary about the state of America because we are the 99%, and yet we put an iPad on our credit card. because we want it and we live beyond our means.
That's very
and that's,
true.
Like, part of the
and
problem
the
with
credit
our culture.
card is the 99%
Exactly.
like, only way of life.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Speaking
that's
as
true.
someone who has debt.
A big debt. Same here.
So
Drink for my debt.
Let's all drink for our own debt. God.
Yay.
Steven's like, I have no debt, but I'm
I
drunk.
actually have a lot of credit card debt.
Yeah,
too.
I have a lot of
Credit
credit
card.
cards.
College.
God.
You guys, that
College
makes me
ruined
feel so much better because every time I look at my credit card statement, I'm like, oh man, I'm the only one who has this much debt. But then all my friends do too, so we're all the
Everybody does.
same.
I know, but then we shouldn't enable each other. is the
Right,
only
but we
thing.
also
We're
shouldn't.
getting smarter.
We
about it
also
now.
shouldn't hate each other, ourselves.
hate ourselves, exactly.
Or
And we
each
shouldn't
other.
like have intense, incessant stress nightmares about it.
like I do.
Like I do too. Okay, anyways, so it'll have a retina display, better battery, and improved camera. It doesn't actually say anything. This rumor does not say anything about the A6 chip, which is possibly an indication that they would save it for the iPad 3 because this rumor is suggesting that the new iPad that's coming out in March is the iPad 2S.
No.
Which would make me so happy
Why?
because I feel like because then I feel like I'm inside of Apple's mind because I know them and I feel like I said this like 5 shows ago or whatever that is how they're going to get more people to do the S track and the normal track. And so people who have an iPad 1 and want to upgrade real fast are going to get a 2S.
Yeah.
And then the people who have an iPad 2 are going to wait for the 3. And then
and the people
Apple
who
is
don't have
brilliant. And then people who don't have
will
anything.
get the 2S. Like,
exactly.
I have so many friends who've been asking me who don't have a tablet at all, who are like, I finally decided that I want an iPad. I finally decided that I want a tablet. Should I wait for the iPad 3? And I don't know. I mean, I round up the rumors, but I don't actually know when it's coming out. I think I have a gut instinct about it, but it's not fact. And so I've been saying to them, like, I don't know. If you want it, just get the iPad 2 because it's good enough. It's wonderful.
That's funny because David Carnoy had a story recently that was
he
like
said the exact
where he said the
opposite.
exact opposite.
Yeah.
He said that his friend just bought an iPad 2 and he's like, "What are you doing? Like that announcement is literally in 2 weeks."
But but to my own credit, I will say that story came out once the March rumor was already sort
Got
of
it.
being
That's true. So,
believed.
like, in
But when
January
we
or
were
whatever,
like,
yeah.
it could still be coming out in September. I was saying, like, if you need it, don't wait till September. Just get it.
Just get it.
But this makes way more sense. They'll get the 2S. They'll run out and get it in droves. So that seems like it would be disappointing and also likely.
True. But I mean, the iPhone 4S is not a bad.
No, and once
Device.
everyone got over themselves and stopped complaining about how it wasn't called the iPhone 5,
Right,
then
because-
everyone was happy about it.
I mean,
Are
yeah,
you okay?
Yeah, I don't know. I choked on my champagne.
I heard her eyes. She's crying. She's
Guys,
so
I'm
sad about the iPad 2S.
Upset and in love with Apple's iPhone or iPad 4S idea. Yeah. So, but that's true. If they would have called the iPhone 4S the iPhone 5, it would have been like heralded as like the greatest
Yeah.
invention of all time.
And I've mentioned this once before, but when I have a friend who works on the iPhone team at Apple, and who shall remain anonymous, and he told me that when they were working on it, they really thought they were working on the iPhone 5. And it wasn't until
Yeah, exactly.
later.
I heard about
So
that.
maybe
that
all
they-
these people think they're working on the iPad 3, and then they're gonna.
Yeah, it was like the marketing team who said to them, actually, that this is going to be called the iPhone 4S. And they, who had developed it, were like, really? Okay. Well,
Yeah, whatever. What do they care?
yeah, they're like, it's
They're
still
making
awesome.
$1 bazillion.
Okay, and I'm going to run through this really fast because we're running out of time and I'm totally bogarting it all. But the next rumor in regards to this comes from Mako Takara,
Our favorite.
mi favorito, and it is an image, potentially, of what they say is the new Retina display. If you look at that image, if we can pull it up,
Let me see.
it is...
Is that it?
That's it, yeah.
Okay.
What is that? I have no idea. I cannot
like a-
decipher that.
It's like a car.
You know what? I saw that picture too, and I was like, "Is that New York at night?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's totally indecipherable. I mean, clearly, like, that's a little bit
Are
of
those
a mother...
birds? What is that?"
Mako Takara says that the bottom of that is the motherboard, and it looks like the motherboard that's in the iPad 2 that's right next to the Retina display. I don't know. I can't speak to it, but there it is. The next report comes from VentureBeat, reporting that iMore, which is another of one of the Apple-focused blogs on the internet that is cluttering up the inner tubes and that I've never heard of, the editor-in-chief of which says that he has a reliable source, who is anonymous, that claims that the exact release date of the iPad 3 will be March 7th.
I
mean-
hope so. I'm totally in the market for an iPad 3, and if they put out a 2S, I'm not going to get it. I swear to God.
See, you're one of the 1%.
Because do you already have an iPad 2?
No, I don't have any iPad at all.
Oh.
So you might as well wait for the
so
redesign.
you just
I'm waiting for the
disproved
3G.
my theory.
I got a tweet from somebody, I forget what that person's name is. Sorry. But they said that it's coming out March 7th because it's going to be a 9.7 like it's something with the 7, like that's where they got the 7 in the March 7 was because 7
It's going to be a 7-inch.
7-inch or 9.7 or 7.3 whatever. And then I said maybe it'll be a 3.7 and it's actually going to be an iPod Touch. And then everybody would
And then everyone's head would explode.
pick.
Okay, then the two other rumors that I really just want to mention really quickly is that there's some supplier chain chatter that points to a smaller 8-inch iPad. That's one rumor that's happening that also came out today. And another one is that the iPad could have 4G.
Ooh,
And
it better.
That is a big deal. First of all, it would mean it's on Verizon, probably. Verizon, and the rumor is Verizon and AT&T would sell a 4G iPad. Who does this come from? An anonymous source.
Ugh, of course. God,
Another person
Almost
briefed
done.
on the
Almost
matter.
done with my
Who would be
iPad.
briefed on the matter? Come on. I actually think this is likely because 4G adoption is picking up. There is a lot more 4G spectrum out there, and the current iPad has 3G. So if they can get on 4G, why wouldn't they? It would be so much faster. It would be great.
I wonder how many people buy the 3G iPad compared with the Wi-Fi iPad. I mean, like, I wonder if that's such a big market because, or the 4G,
Yeah, I'd
whatever
like
it's
to
going
know
to be.
numbers on that.
Because I feel like when we recommend buying the iPad to get the Wi-Fi one, because you usually use it, you don't use it necessarily on the bus, or I guess you do.
I mean, you see some people using it on the bus.
People, and I read on it on the bus, whatever, but like, there's a very small segment of the population that is using it outside of the home or outside of a coffee shop or someplace that has Wi-Fi anyway. Even BART, even our public transportation here has Wi-Fi now.
Yeah.
So like the needing to buy a separate contract for it for 3G seems. I wonder how many people are actually using that.
I'd like to know that. I also think that like if you have the iPad, as you're saying, most people who have it also have a smartphone which has internet connection. So if you need, while you're on the bus, to look something up or whatever, and your iPad can't connect, even though it can play movies, play songs, and you can read books and all that stuff, you can just do it on your smartphone. Although I have to say that like even this morning I was running late and I wanted to continue doing work and I needed to get into our like in-house CNET tools, and I was wishing that on the bus my iPad would connect. Even though then I would have been so embarrassed to sit on the public muni with my iPad. I would have been mortified. And then I would have been like, it's work issued.
That's true. And so now some people in the chat room are saying that they don't think that they will launch a 4G iPad before an iPhone that has 4G.
That's
which
true.
is interesting. And then
except for the iPhone is just on a different release schedule.
Right, that's true. And then another person said that GPS would be nice to have, and that you can.
It would be fabulous.
So that is what you use the 3G for.
Yeah.
Because I don't think. I mean, the minute you go outside, you don't have satellite anywhere. So anyway, then there's also somebody in the chat room called Rumor Doesn't Have It. Just wanted to put that out there.
Snap!
Thanks a lot, Rumor
Corey
Doesn't
Feldman.
Have It.
Snap,
We also
snap.
have Corey Feldman in the chat room. So whatever.
So they even out. I just take my sweater off because I'm so hot. Okay, let's move on to rumor number 2 because we're running so late.
Okay,
so sorry.
rumor number 2 also has to do with Apple, of course. Citing anonymous sources, drink. I'm going to keep talking. A 9 to 5 Mac says that Apple is in talks with Sam's Club, which is like Costco, I think, but it's owned by Walmart.
I used to be a member of Sam's Club.
I've never seen a Sam's Club. I
They're
don't
in the
think they
East
have that in
Coast.
the Bay Area.
There's someone in the Bay Area.
There are?
Yeah. There's a couple.
I'm a Costco member, so I guess you wouldn't necessarily be a member for both. It's overkill of 25 rolls of toilet paper. But a membership-only chain, right? That's what Sam's Club is. To expand a current partnership with Apple. And the expansion of Apple's presence at the wholesale retailer's chain would be a special note given that Apple split up with Costco a few years ago. The two companies, Costco and Apple, decided to stop doing business in 2010 because a restriction that kept Costco from being able to sell Apple products online. So Apple was like, you can't do that. You can't. And so
and then
Costco was like,
if we can't
F
sell
you,
it
fine.
online,
Yeah,
we don't want it in our
to.
stores.
So I've never been inside a Sam's Club. I don't know. I'm not sure whatever. If it looks anything like a Walmart looks, I think that a mini Apple store with its sleek, white, cool lines inside of a Walmart with its bins of like socks and whatever and like dollar product would be the funniest juxtaposition of two entities in the world. Because like a mini Apple store inside of like this like mess that is a Costco or Sam's Club seems so weird.
It would be so impossible because it's supposed to be this like sanctuary of like beautiful, sleek
Zen you're
consumerism.
supposed to go and touch everything. And in
and
Costco,
that is the opposite
you have
of Sam's
like,
Club and Costco.
And Sam's Club, I'm not sure if Sam's Club is like Costco, but at
It
Costco
is exactly
you have
like it.
so you
Exactly
have
the same.
like food samples, and then you're walking around with your greasy like mini hot dog fingers touching the iPad. Like that feels so gross.
God.
Like such a gross thing. So
Oh,
anyway,
the thought of those fingerprints and touching everything.
Yeah,
you
and-
already feel so dirty in
and
those
like
places.
the whole point of an Apple store is to be able to touch everything, play with everything, and otherwise, if it's behind glass,
and
then
also,
who cares?
why
What's the
would they be
point?
selling Apple products in bulk? What are you going to go in there and buy
I don't
like
think
10
so. What I think it
MacBooks?
is I think I don't know if it's in bulk. I think it's like how they do like the PlayStations or the Xboxes
Yeah.
where they bundle it with another controller and a game or whatever. So maybe they bundle it with a case and a whatever and whatever. I mean, I'm really interested to see
Yeah.
what they would, or not, or it's just another
I mean, yeah,
location
because you
for
can
an
just
Apple
go and
store.
buy TVs and stuff in Costco, and
Yeah,
they're
it's
not
just a better
they don't
price.
come with anything. Yeah,
I doubt that Apple will drop the price. I think they just want to make their presence more known.
to
whatever.
the people who shop at Costco.
Now, the thing is that an Apple store should have an Apple genius manning it. Now, my experience with like mini Apple stores inside of like Best Buy or whatever, I guess I'm not sure if that's supposed to be an Apple store, but like, not
I don't
only
think it
is
is.
there not a genius, but there's not even a Best Buy employee. Like, nobody is
No, you're like,
there.
excuse me, pardon me, I have a question.
Yeah,
and then when you
and they're,
find
like,
them, they're
over
playing
there.
Xbox Connect.
Yeah, and they're like,
excuse
nowhere
me?
to be found. So the point of this is so weird. But so I don't know. I think whatever.
I see it as like a separate room that they would probably build. It's gonna
yeah,
be all white,
yeah, and maybe
shiny.
it'd be like
Yeah,
so.
like
so
have you ever
like
been to the eye doctor in Costco? Sorry,
right? And it's like
it's like a whole
own-
separate area, and
Right.
it's the worst.
And not eye doctor with an eye like iPad, but
Oh,
eye doctor like
Wow.
like EYE doctor.
cheesy,
Good one,
cheesy.
good one.
So I don't know. So I don't. It seems weird, but on the heels of this, which I think is really funny. Speaking of retail stores, and add this to the list of why the hell, which as we talked about last week was that Amazon was thinking about building a brick and mortar store. Is that Google is planning to open a retail store in Dublin? And when I first read this, I thought it was Dublin, the city in the East Bay.
Yeah.
There's a little city next to. Right over the San Mateo Bridge called Dublin,
In the
which is
Tri-Valley.
yeah, in the Tri
so
Valley.
funny
and
that
it's
that's
like,
what you thought of.
It's literally like, I mean, it's homes. It's very residential, and there's like a mall, whatever.
But there's like a
strip mall.
centuries-old capital of a nation.
Yeah,
called Dublin.
or there's Dublin, Ireland, which is where they were going to build that because Google has, one of its European headquarters or the European headquarters, whatever, is in Dublin.
Oh, that
so
makes sense.
in November, the search giant Google filed a plan to open a retail store at its headquarters in Dublin's Montevetro office block. I am a robot. I can't read. According to Bloomberg, which discovered the document on the Dublin City website. And based on the plans, it appears Google is considering opening a store that would span about 1,300 square feet. Google already
not that big.
opened a brick and mortar store in London. It was called the Chrome Zone.
Oh,
That's the worst
God.
name.
Made me vomit. I
Like,
don't know.
Horrible
like
name.
chromosome.
Yeah, right. And I don't know if that was literally the name or what they were calling it. Like the internal name
You
was
just
the Chrome Zone.
entered the Chrome Zone.
This is the Chrome
It's like the
Zone.
danger zone.
It's like that music.
We're going to mess with your body.
So I don't know if it was only leading up to. I think it was only leading up to the holidays. So it was like a pop-up store, so people can whatever. Yeah, I wrote so much on this. I did so much research on this. I'm going to cut it short because we're running out of time. But here's a quote from Google's rep. We already have an online store selling things like Google T-shirts and pens. We have we have the option of a small space doing the same in our Dublin office, but we've not made any decisions. It's simply planning an application. They are going to open the store to sell pens
Oh my God.
and T-shirts.
Can I also-
What in the hell is the point of that? I thought when I first read that it was going to be like, sorry, I'm totally running over
No,
you.
go.
I have a million things to say. Like maybe they're going to like open the store so people can play with Chromebooks or do troubleshooting.
That would
like
make
it
sense.
like a Google Genius Bar, whatever.
Or sell the Nexus.
or sell their
Not the
own
Nexus,
phone.
yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Droid.
The Nexus. You're right.
Oh, okay.
That's like their own thing. But there's so and I thought that would be so hard because there's so many versions of Android. There's so many phones running it. Like they're gonna have to have an expert for everything, whatever. And then I realized that all they wanted to do was sell pens and T-shirts
And Pez dispensers.
and like the little
Sweatpants.
droid guy and like what?
That's so
And
ridiculous.
So the only reason that Google and Amazon even care about opening a brick and mortar store is because they are competing with Apple, who actually did a good job opening
But
their
how
brick
can
and
you
mortar.
can't compete
Bandwagoning.
with Apple?
Sorry.
Here, I'm sorry, I'm pouring myself more champagne.
Yeah, please do.
You can't compete with Apple by selling T-shirts. They're not a T-shirt company.
And so all they want to do is open this store just to say that they did it, which
Yeah.
is so stupid.
It's
And
like-
can I just cut them out, get rid of the middleman, and offer directly to you, our fans, our watchers, our listeners? I actually have a Google shirt that's never been worn that's from a Google employee. And if you guys want some swag, I could add that to the swag bag. And you don't
Great.
have to wait for this
Great.
Dublin store to open.
We'll just put
request
a
it.
CNET sticker in it.
Yeah.
And you could say that you got it. Then when you wear it, you can be like, oh, yeah, I got this in Ireland
Yeah.
when I went on my trip to Ireland.
Adam Scotland in our chat room says that he went. He says, I went. It wasn't great.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
really not surprised that it wasn't great. I mean, it just the concept of it, the concept that they're only opening it is making it so obvious that they're only opening it to compete with Apple, which is,
Yeah.
I mean, just stop.
It's
I mean,
on
have
the
you seen those
bandwagon.
Microsoft stores that look exactly like the Apple stores?
Yeah, and
those at least are nice. Like
and
they
those-
copied it because it's good.
Exactly, and those serve a purpose. They're not just selling Microsoft T-shirts, which
Yeah.
is so dumb. And get that online, and don't bother me with this brick and mortar.
I totally agree, lady. Totally.
All
All right,
right.
now we're going to move on to the next rumor, and there's a perfect segue to it because it is a Google rumor, but it's a sad one. Gosh. And it's really just conjecture coming from, I'm sure you guys know about our mobile expert, Maggie Reardon. She is just so smart about everything to do with mobile, and she's been looking at the trends to do with Google, and she believes that it is possible that Google Wallet, this much ballyhooed technology that they have been pimping since last year, is actually on the way out and is going to be the next big Google failure. I'm not going to go into all the reasons why. She has a detailed analysis, and I urge you to go and read her story, which is really interesting.
Yeah, we'll put a link in the blog post later that we'll post later. Today.
Absolutely. But the gist of it is basically that Google developed Google Wallet, which is based on NFC technology, and it's an app that goes on your Android phone and could be potentially built into phones that run Android that allows you to make purchases in stores using your phones. You don't have to carry your antiquated old wallet with that adorable little paper money and those quaint little plastic credit cards that are so last century. Instead, you can use your phone and just swipe it over that thing at the checkout counter, and it, using like a laser or whatever, not a laser, I don't really know, will recognize your phone and access your account and blah. Everyone, when it was first coming out, was really concerned about security. Like, nobody wants to have all of their credit card information, all of their financial information so readily available on the phone, which, as we know, is able to be hacked, able to be tracked, is often lost and left in taxi cabs, and then people can just be making purchases. Google said that they worked out all of those kinks, and yet, here's the problem. It has not been adopted by major phone manufacturers. It's just really slow to catch on, and people like Verizon has refused to pick it up because they have their own NFC technology that they're developing, and they don't want Google to take all the thunder and make all the money. So they don't want Google's version.
I have a question. You know, when you go to a gas station and you can either swipe your credit card like this, or you can just tap it to the thing. Does anybody do that?
I don't, because I was like,
never
I don't
done
think
that.
my card
I've never
can do
done that either. Exactly. I'm like, what's the point of tapping it or swiping it and putting it in your whatever? And so maybe that's the same thing with Google Wallet. It's like everybody's so used to doing this.
Well, yeah, and I think you're right. I
like,
think
who
what it is,
cares?
it's like it's as though they believe they're answering a problem, but it's not a problem. People don't mind using credit cards. People don't mind using cash. The invention of money and credit cards is so that we can have an ease of transactions in society.
it's already pretty
It's already
easy.
pretty easy.
Yeah.
I mean, especially cash has its caveats. It's hard to have it. You have to go to an ATM.
Right.
But having a credit card or a debit card is easy.
Right, but I feel like I'm already carrying my wallet anyway because it has my ID, it has a business card,
Yeah.
it has like stuff in it. What is the point of having one more credit card. Who cares?
I
It's not like
totally
it's
agree.
so-
If it could replace your actual wallet, as the name implies, if it could be Google Wallet, where like
with your ID,
driver's license
your
is
dri-
on
yeah.
your phone and it
then
says
fine. Then you don't have to carry a wallet. It's
totally,
It's
but
easy to.
that's not what it is.
Yeah.
And so it's really slow to pick up. And then the thing that happened last week, which Maggie thinks may be the death knell of Google Wallet, is that they had to take it offline because they found this intense security problem with it. And so it's flawed and no one wants it. And no one's adopting it. And though everyone's excited about it, and some of the rumors about the next iPhone are that it'll have NFC technology, and all the next phones are touting that they're going to have it, and it would make sense for Google to take the lead on it, it's just not working. And as we know, Google actually has a history of failed products. Part of the reason is because it's so innovative. And,
Right,
and
like
Google,
like a T-shirt store in Dublin.
yes. But also those horrendous, horrific things that you'll remember, Google Buzz.
Oh, yeah, and the Google TV that
Google
kind of flopped, and
which is still
it's
going,
going,
but it's like
and there's some rumors
it's like
about
a fish dying on the riverbank. It's like that's not what a fish dying on the riverbank sounds like.
Wow.
No, it doesn't sound like that either. I can't do a fish dying on a riverbank. But and then
Shooting that idea down.
sorry, but also there was Google Health. I don't even remember that. Google Labs, which was actually awesome because some neat things came out of it, but they shut it down. All of those things are failures. So will Google Wallet be the next failure? We'll bet upon that in 1 second.
Now let's
Our new
do our
segment.
new segment. We've got 11 minutes.
Sorry, it's going to be so boring. This is the analytical segment.
No, but listen. Okay, watch this graphic. It's going to
This
blow
will make
your
it good.
mind.
Analyze the analysis. Check the analysis. Check the analyses. The annals of analysis.
Okay, so for our first ever Analysts Corner, this is a new segment where we are going to profile the top tech analysts who are the people who are responsible for a lot of the rumors that we're bringing when they're not from anonymous sources. And these are people whose job it is to work for investment firms and for think tanks and look at the market and trends and predict what is going to happen with certain stocks. Are they going to go up? Are they going to go down? And why? Not just is Apple going to go up, but is it going to go up because it's about to introduce a new MacBook Pro or a 15-inch MacBook Air? And so, as is fitting from our history, our first analyst that we are going to profile is none other than Eugene Munster himself.
And that is because it is Valentine's Day, and Emily loves him.
I once said that he was a tall drink of water, and I will stand behind that statement.
Yeah, he is a very attractive man.
He is, and he is he's one of the most famous analysts because he's all over television. He's on CNBC, MSNBC. He's on all of the financial shows. He's one of the most sought after analysts to come onto television and tell people, this is why you should buy Apple. This is why you should wait. This is what we're expecting. And it's not just people who invest in the stock market who listen to what he says. It's also accessory makers who want to know when the iPad is coming out and want to know if an Apple TV is coming out. And it's also buyers and consumers who want to know, should I wait for the iPad 3 or not? So I'm going to give you just a little rundown on who this Gene Munster fellow is. Gene Munster, a.k.a. the top Apple analyst,
AKA tall drink of water.
a.k.a. the Apple guru, is a senior researcher at Piper Jaffray in Minnesota, which is an investment brokerage firm which basically handles people's money and takes care of their investments, and you pay them for them to tell you what you should do. Basically, you pay them to take your money and make it into a lot more money. And the way that they do that is by employing people like Gene Munster, who look at the trends and know where to invest things because they have they look at the precedents and they have a gut instinct for it. Munster joined Piper Jaffray in 1995 with a bachelor's degree from the University of St. Thomas, which I originally thought was in the Caribbean, and so it sounded like a party school. And I was like, Gene, let's get a drink together. But then I did a little bit of Google research, and it turns out that St. Thomas is actually a private Catholic school in Minnesota, and it doesn't sound like a party school at all. What Gene does is he watches Apple and Google and Yahoo and a bunch of other internet companies and predicts where it's going and why. He made a name for himself by aggressively betting that things were going to go in a way that nobody else in the field was thinking. He thought that Apple was going to rise astronomically high, and what's happened is that he was right. I'm going to go over now a prediction that he made that was correct, then a prediction that he made that he got incorrect, and his most recent prediction.
Great.
As fast as I can.
Perfect, because then we still have to vote.
Okay. All right. So,
everything.
a prediction that he made that was correct, which is a big one, on September 11th, 2006, he predicted the iPhone.
Oh, shoot. Gene Munster was a genius.
He believed that Apple was primed to enter the phone market because all of these other phones were coming out that touted music technology, and such as at the time the LG Chocolate. And at the time, he said that if Apple, with its iPod prowess, was able to enter the phone market, it would have the potential to sell up to 10 million iPhones.
Yeah, that was a very
got that part a little bit wrong.
He lowballed that.
But so then, now here's a part that he got wrong. Once the iPhone was announced, Gene Munster predicted that Apple could sell up to 45 million of the devices in a year. This is an example of him being incredibly bullish and believing that things were going to go amazingly well. Then he got mocked, or not mocked, but people said he was incorrect because that first year, Apple only sold 20 million iPhones. But if we fast forward in history to now, in 2011, Apple sold 47 million iPhones a year. So when he predicted that they had the potential to sell 45 million iPhones a year, he was right. He was just early. What is Gene Munster predicting now? An Apple television, as you know.
Yeah.
He's been predicting it for a couple of years now, and it's gotten a lot more attention ever since the Isaacson's biography has come out, and he believes that that is happening. But then also this most recent prediction of his, as you know, Apple stock is soaring above $500 a share at this moment. Groundbreakingly high stock. And Munster predicts that it is going to go as high as $670 a stock, which indicates that he wants you to buy Apple stock. He says if you have $500 lying around right now, go and buy an Apple stock. So my idea, if you guys want to possibly play along, is we could pool our very limited funds, like in the $1 range each, and as a podcast, we could buy one share of Apple stock, and we could track it and see how Gene Munster's doing.
And
let me know if you want to put.
We can make $150.
Yeah, I don't know.
That doesn't
It
sound
doesn't
great.
seem- but if you guys want to do that as an experiment, we could all be co-owners of one share of Apple stock. He also believes that it's going to go so high that it's going to pay a dividend to those who own it, which is pretty amazing. And there you go. That was Gene Munster in one little moment. I hope that you feel that you've gotten to know him.
Analyze the analysis. Check the analysis. Check the analyses. Analysts Corner.
We love us some graphics. All right,
Okay, now let's
do.
vote.
Speaking of graphics, let's do our voting graphic.
All right.
And I'll drink while this happens.
Round 20.
20.
Okay, ready? We'll do this fast because we
Okay.
have a bunch of voicemails and a bunch of things. Okay, is the iPad that's going to be announced, is it going to be the iPad 2S?
Yes.
Okay, you say yes. I say yes, sir. Okay, is it going to have a Retina display?
Yes.
Okay, I say no. You say yes. Is it going to happen in March?
Yes.
I say yes too. Is it going to be? Are they going to announce an 8-inch one too?
No.
I say no as well.
Is it going to happen on March 7th?
Yeah. Oh, March 7th. Okay. Let me write that into our very. I say. Yes.
I say no.
I'm so nervous. Okay, did I say yes? Okay.
Yes.
All right, and you said no. Okay, so ready?
Uh-huh.
Is Apple Store going to go into
Sam's
the
Club?
Sam's Club?
No.
I say no too. Okay, is Google Wallet going to be Google's next failure? I say yes.
I say no. I actually think they're going to keep it alive because they don't want to admit defeat.
Okay, is
But wait, we missed Dublin.
I-
Chrome, Google Dublin store.
Oh, right. We did? No, that came. Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
oops.
did.
What did I vote? I messed up the voting thing.
It's okay, but so is it going to have a Dublin store?
Oh, Dublin store. I say no.
Okay, I'll say yes.
Okay. All right.
And then the next voting is Apple TV. Is it going to get an update, and will it be announced during the iPad 3 announcement in March?
I say yes.
I also say yes. Who cares?
Okay. Now we come to our segment of voicemails. We got three voicemails this week. We also have so many images. You guys have been sending us like photoshopped images that you guys have created. Last week we had the Ratuna display from our friend Stanley Huang in Canada. So this week we have a couple voicemails and some art. We love art.
Okay, I'm gonna play.
Yeah,
Riley
thank you
Davis
guys so
first.
much for always getting in touch with us. It makes us feel so happy. We love you, and we will always play it on the show, unless it's
Yeah.
a prank call and you're mocking us, in which case,
Which we
please don't
also
do
get a
that.
couple of those, and we don't like that.
That's not nice, especially not on
I mean, we
Valentine's
kind of
Day.
like it. We think it's funny, but
Yeah.
we're never going to play it on the show. So nice try.
Yeah.
Nice try.
Okay, so I'm gonna play the MP3 first. Here we go.
Okay.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Josh from Maryland. I almost forgot this, but I was listening to Android Atlas, and it reminded me. When I was at CES, I was talking to a Google engineer about Google TV, and I was asking him about the trend with going into motion control and gestures and voice control, and if we would see that on Google TV. And he kind of hesitated and backtracked and said, that's an interesting idea. And I said, are you guys working on that now? And he said, I'll leave it at that's interesting. So he kind of hinted that the Google TV engineering team, which he was on, is doing testing with some Kinect type controllers. So maybe you can add that as a rumor, or even the idea that the next gen hardware for Google TV is coming out. All right, love the show. Talk to you later.
Aw,
Thank you, Josh. The thing I wrote back to Josh in an email, I said, if by interest, that is interesting, unless by interesting it meant that you actually gave them the idea to do that, in which case
They're like, that guy is
like,
on
oh,
to something.
he is a genius. We're not going to give him any money for that idea, though. We'll just pretend it's ours and just say it's interesting. So anyway, so that's fun. All right, our next one,
Is this from
voicemail.
Riley?
Yeah, let's play Riley.
Oh, Riley.
Happy 20th to
Serenaded.
He's so
Finally.
cute.
20th to you. Happy 20th to have it. Happy 20th to
I love Riley Davis.
Me too. Riley, you're so
Riley Davis,
sweet.
stay golden.
If Riley
Bye.
Davis is ever in San Francisco, he is coming on the show.
I actually got that voicemail while I was on a date with my boyfriend, and I was listening. I started playing it, and he was like, "Who is singing to you?" He was so jealous.
I know it's awesome. All right, we have one more voicemail.
Oh, we do. Oh my God, do we have time?
No.
Hey, rumor has it, this is Davis from Nebraska, and guess what? There's a perfect product for, guess who? Emily. Just saw on your last show that somebody likes moving their TV. And guess who just released the movable television at CES? Sharp! You can take it right from the living room onto the dining room table without even unplugging it. It's perfect. Love the show.
That's pretty
That's
awesome.
maniacal.
The thing is, what Davis from Nebraska doesn't realize is that I did not have enough money for a new TV. So you know what? You can also move any TV if you just unplug the cords from the wall and pick the TV up.
Every TV is movable.
But I like where your head is, Davis. I like it.
Yeah, make it easy. Make it
Yeah.
as easy as possible. All right, so now we have a couple of let's see. Should we show the BlackBerry surfboard?
Yeah, check this out.
Robert Barrett sent us a
That's
mock-up.
what the surfboard will look like.
It looks like a Nokia phone. Yeah.
It
Yeah,
does look
it's like a Nokia BlackBerry phone. And then he was like, and then I wrote back to him about how funny it was, and then he was like, yeah, it's gonna have a 6-year contract. Right.
They're like, we want you for life.
It was so
Okay, and
funny.
then let's show the next one since it's our celebratory thing, and this will maybe be one of our new graphics. That was also made by Riley Davis, right?
Oh my God, Riley Davis!
He
Look
hit
at that.
every
Look,
element here.
look, there's Gene Munster
Gene's
in
there.
the corner. Me in a banana suit, Vegas, Devil Sticks,
Devil Sticks in the Zero.
30 Rock,
30 Rock, our
some
favorite.
bourbon,
Yes.
and
Amazon Prime, which we never shut up about, and which
And-
Kareen still doesn't have.
I know, and then the iPad.
I love that Steven is pointing at Rumor Has It.
I know, well, like Riley
Like, yep,
Davis.
I did that.
That's
Right.
a picture of me in my recording studio. I'm like leaning on the soundboard, and he cut it out.
Wow.
Like, yeah,
Riley
it's pretty
Davis,
cool.
what can't that guy do?
Seriously.
I mean, he is
He's awesome. Thank you, Riley.
Yeah,
Amazing.
thank you so much, Riley.
And then we had an animated GIF
oh my
Oh,
God,
yeah.
can we show
from
that?
how
Is it possible?
last week our the stream kept freezing, and so he animated it.
What does this one say?
It's about when I was talking about balls and sacks, I guess.
Yeah, like if
Out
you
of context, it sounds bad, but in context, it made sense because I was talking about different juggling apparatus.
and that's what I did.
She put her head on
It's
her
called
mic.
it's called a face mic.
Oh, a face mic.
like
I didn't
face
know.
palm. Because ball sacks. We're just talking about ball sacks all the time. Anyway, so,
Yeah.
it
So thanks
was
for
really
being
funny.
involved, guys, and thanks for watching. And I'm
thank-
so glad
yeah.
we made it to this to our 20th show.
Yes, congratulations for sticking with us.
Yeah, and next week we will come at you with fewer iPad rumors. I swear. We'll
Hopefully.
move on to some
We'll
other things.
see.
Send us anything you want to talk about. Call us at 1-800-750-CNET. Write us at rumorhasit@cnet.com.
Tweet us.
Tweet at us because we always respond. We always have time for you. We love you, and you should. Oh, and happy Valentine's Day.
Oh, happy
Yeah.
Valentine's Day, Gene Munster.
And don't go anywhere. Maybe take a bathroom break. Maybe get yourself a little snack. But Crave is coming up next. Bye.
There's a 20 on my back, just the way I like, sparkling in the sun. There's a 20 on my hat with my baseball bat, number 20 helps hit a home run. There's a 20 on my